local and national real estate expert and consumer advocate, Ron Siegel.
And hello again. Welcome to Ron Siegel Radio. This is the show with no real boundaries. As we discuss current events, financial markets, politics, sports, even poking fun at the rest of the media, this is the show that connects the dots of confusion. Delivered by conflicting media reports, we connect the dots so you know the actions you can take. How your family, your business can benefit from current events. And most of all, thank you for joining me. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That's my message. And as your consumer advocate, I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio or anytime at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990 or ronsiegelradio.com. Just remember, that's the number you call anytime for assistance. When you call that number, it comes directly to me first. There are no operators standing by. I am it.
Quiet, numbskulls. I'm broadcasting.
Well, I do have a great team when it comes to developing a financing plan or plan to save you money. I personally work with you. Even if you don't have any needs today, save this number in your phone for future reference, 800-306-1990, 1-800-306-1990. Of course, we are celebrating today, like we do celebrate every day. So what are we going to celebrate today? You gotta love this one. It is, no, we're not going to celebrate the fact that the Federal Reserve is going to increase interest rates. No, we're not celebrating that. It's National Chocolate Covered Anything Day today. And I can get behind that one. National Chocolate Covered Anything. We might have to chat with our friend Robert Mott when he connects with us in a little bit about chocolate covered and what we should be eating that's chocolate covered to go with our wine selection that he's going to be bringing us, as he does every Wednesday morning, Wednesday afternoon, whenever we get the opportunity to chat with him, or when you have the opportunity to listen in. I did share a little bit. I just posted on our YouTube channel. If you're not catching it, we put a lot of great stuff over there, youtube.com/Ron Siegel 1. So I put on there a little bit of commentary today. I don't want to use up our whole broadcast on that commentary. But what's going to happen today? What's causing the Federal Reserve to do what they're doing? What is going to happen when they do what we suspect they're going to do? Although there's no good reason for them to do it, they're going to do it anyway. They need to save face. I didn't put that in there, but that is what it is. But what's the impetus? What's the cause? So we can get that information right there on Ron Siegel Radio, Ron Siegel 1 on YouTube. It's our channel that has all of our broadcasts. If you ever miss a broadcast, you can catch that information right there. Got a lot of information going on, though. What happened in the debates last night? What did we learn? What didn't we learn? Was there any good information? Wasn't there? Was it a bore? One thing that we certainly did learn, Dr. Carson, he needs to get some cough drops, or CNN needs to get a cough button for their microphones. Did you catch Dr. Carson coughing throughout the entire debate? Kind of an interesting sound bite there made for great radio or great TV, whatever you were watching, however you were watching that. The whole issue, though, of the debate, I'll get to that in a minute. We got some other goodies that we'll cover before we get to that. The budget deal, looking like we're not going to have a budget shutdown. That was some interesting information there. Why do I say that was interesting information? Think about this one. One of the items that was part of the budget deal, I think we're going to vote on that tomorrow, I believe it is, in the United States Congress, House of Representatives, is that the U.S. we will be lifting our limit on oil exports. We saw the announcement this morning that there was another 4 million, I think it was a 4 million barrel build on oil. The effects are oil being down over $1.50 a barrel as I'm speaking to you right now, continuing the plummet, having the effect we will see that in days to come, but right now we're looking at national gas prices, $2.01, 201.1 per gallon national pricing. Here in the state of confusion, we're paying $2.64.50 on our gas prices. 26 states now. Think about this. We're at over $2.64 a gallon, and there's 26 states that are under $2 a gallon. I would say
This is ridiculous.
yeah, it's ridiculous. We should be leading the country. Well, we've got our own issues because we like to charge ourselves too much money. Think about this one, though. We have I believe it's our Secretary of, we'll just figure that, a candidate for the United States Senate from California, our United States candidate for Senate, unbelievable, Kamala Harris. Think about this. I mean, she's out there spending $1,500 a night on hotel rooms that her campaign is paying for. $1,500 a night for hotel rooms. Luxury cars, airline tickets, first class accommodations. And she's the front runner for the California Senate seat being vacated by Barbara Boxer.
So I know whose ass to kick.
Yeah, not a good option there either. But think about this: $1,500 to $2,000 a night on hotel rooms. What's that going to do if she gets into office? When she gets into office as a senator from the state of California, how much of your money is she going to be spending doing these trips? Unbelievable how little oversight there is. Maybe that's why in the debate last night, so many people referred to the government as corrupt. And I would suggest that that's exactly why we see the carnival barker doing as well as, Mr. Trump doing as well as he is because the government is so corrupt. Those who are seen as outsiders, no matter what, they are seen as being good. I would suggest we start watching a little closer what's going on in these debates and what's going on with the candidates. Obviously, you can tell that I'm not a big Trump fan. Yeah, I don't I'm not a fan of anybody who has to tell us over and over again how great they are. If they were so great, if Trump was so great, if people liked him so much, he doesn't have to tell anybody. We're going to know it on our own. So Trump, to me, is, I know he's leading the Republican caucus, so to speak, whatever you want to call that, the field of candidates. About 42% of the people seem to like him at this stage. The question I have is, how far can he go? He's the reality show, he's the entertainer, he's got the name recognition. When you look at Trump, you look at Hillary Clinton, everybody knows them, everybody has an opinion on them. When you look at Rubio, when you look at Cruz, when you look at Kasich, Christie, I would venture to guess not everybody knows them. They don't have the name recognition that the others have at this point. People may have an opinion on them, but they're still learning those people. I don't know that Trump's going to ever go above 40%. He cannot win a general election at 40%. He could be the Republican nominee, but can't win a general election at 40%. It's going to be the independent voters who always decide every election. Every election. There's going to be 40% they're going to vote Republican no matter what. There's going to be 40% that'll vote Democrat no matter what. What happens with that 20 in the middle is what's important. We heard the bickering between Trump and Jeb Bush last night. We saw the differences between Marco Rubio and Ted Cruz last night. Interesting TV, interesting entertainment, probably the best ratings CNN has had in a long, long time. But is it going to mean anything at the end of the day? That's going to be the big question. That's what we're going to all be watching to see what happens with these different candidates and where they go. It's nice to see, though, that Trump does not intend to be as disruptive as he generally is, stating last night that he will support the Republican candidate and has no intention of going with an independent candidacy. If it wasn't for the independent, Ross Perot, we probably would have never seen the Great Recession, which was caused by Bill Clinton. Because Bill Clinton wouldn't have won. 19% coming from Ross Perot, probably at least 2/3 of that being taken away from the Democrat from George Bush at the time. Just saying. We'll get into that a little bit more, but we're going to chat. We got a lot to chat about today, you and I. How long does it take to save for a down payment? I should tell you, you're listening to Ron Siegel Radio, and we are discussing your real estate, current events, financial markets. We'll talk about wine. We'll talk about how long it takes to save for a down payment. 256,000 homes regained equity in the third quarter of this year. Millennials, will I be paying student loans until the day I die? Ugh, that's not a very exciting thought. You can reach me anytime. Call the operator number at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or RonSiegelRadio.com. Stay tuned. We will be back in just a few.
Are you earning a safe, secure 10+% return on your investments? Is your credit score over 800? Are you living in the home of your dreams or simply where you think you can afford? If the answer to any of these questions is no, what are you doing about it? Text ATP to 79564. Complete a 3-minute complimentary survey and the area trusted professionals of Ron Siegel Radio will reach out to you to develop a success strategy for you. Again, all you need to do is text ATP to 79564.
Ron Siegel Radio Date Night Trivia, presented by Reunion Kitchen and Drink. Friday, Ron will pose a question based on-air conversations during the prior 7 programs. The person to post the answer according to the guest conversation will win a date night package, including a dinner gift card for Reunion Kitchen and Drink. You might even be able to say hi to Ron when you visit Reunion Kitchen and Drink.
It's not every day your home gets flooded, but when it happens, you've got the good people at Apris on your side. With over 25 years of construction and insurance experience, they can turn any disaster around, making your home good as new. For 24/7 support, call 844-GO-APRIS or find us on the web at www.apris.me. Day, night, rain, or shine, when it happens to you, you know what to do. Go Apris. Remember, call 844-GO-APRIS. That's 844-462-7747.
Are you a veteran, own a home, and need money? The Siegel Lending Team is here to help veterans refinance and get the money they need. The VA 100 lets you borrow up to 100% of your home's value, refinance your mortgages, consolidate credit cards, and lower your payments by an average of $700 a month. And the Siegel Lending Team knows that character means more than a credit score. Call 800-306-1990. That's 800-306-1990. Rate subject to change without notice. Licensed by the California Department of Corporations, NMLS 21037, and DRE number 018694552.
Are you a veteran, police officer, firefighter, doctor, nurse, or teacher? If so, you qualify as one of Ron Siegel's VIP heroes, and we have rewards up to $5,000 or $10,000 when you buy, sell, or refinance a home with one of the Ron Siegel Radio partners. As one of the heroes, real estate agents will rebate part of their commission, lending partners will give a credit at closing, the title company has special published rates, and many other service providers have incentives too. All you need to do is call Ron Siegel Radio at 1-800-306-1990. That's 1-800-306-1990. Or visit VIPHeroProgram.com. Just think about what you will do with all the rebates and incentives from the partners of Ron Siegel Radio. Just call us at 800-306-1990 so we can show you our appreciation for your service.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
Welcome back to Ron Siegel Radio. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That's my message, and as your consumer advocate, I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio or anytime at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. Well, what are we going to chat about? Let's talk about the Mortgage Minute today. 256,000 homes regained equity. That's going to be an interesting conversation. Ooh, what do you do with that information? Where do you go with it? Interesting. What I'm really trying to get at is, we've been telling you about the HARP program for a long time. We've been telling you about taking advantage of the opportunity to get your home loan restructured. We've been telling you that the interest rates are going to go up right now. They're going to go up very shortly with the Federal Reserve. All of that information is challenging. Challenging as to what do you do with it. And while I share this information with you, let me tell Steve right here, just a little bit, live radio. Apparently Robert can't hear us, Steve, so we're going to have to see what we can do with him. But as you get equity in your home, you need to think about finding out the true value. And I shared this with you on a regular basis, that you need to text PEAR to 79564 and find out what the true value of your home is. We know that 32% of Americans are incorrect about what their home value is. Now we're starting to see the issue that people have equity. They haven't known what to do with the equity, and now that they've got the equity, what do you do now? Well, you look and see where your interest rates are. You look and see, do you need to move? Do you need to want to move? Do you want to get a bigger house? Do you want to right size? Do you want to downsize? All of these are issues. I'm going to chat with you a little bit more in a little bit on this, but I want you to understand you've got equity in your homes. There are 70% of Americans have equity in their home, and only 30% believe they have equity. You need to know that. We're going to talk about it more as we go on. That is the Mortgage Minute, being brought to you by the professionals, PEAR, Area Trusted Real Estate Professionals at Ron Siegel Radio. Red wine means it is time for our chat with Robert Mott. You can always tell when we're live, when you're listening to a live radio program, is because it's not perfect. Sometimes there are technical issues that we work through right live on air. So hopefully, Robert Mott, can you hear us now?
I can hear you now. Yes.
Excellent. It's always fun when I try and text Robert while I'm in the middle of doing the Mortgage Minute or one of the other segments, and you try and see if your brain can go in 3 different directions. But at least I didn't have any wine before I tried doing that, Robert.
Well, at least, because you always amaze me, the fact that you can actually carry on a text conversation while carrying on the conversation of the radio show as well.
It is a little fun, but it's just the challenges that we end up learning how to do. So let's talk a little bit about wine, and I know we're getting close to the holiday time, and I seem to find myself, when I'm with people that I can get away with it, talking about some of the wine etiquette habits that you've taught me. So, and the biggest one that I frequently see is people holding their wine glass wrong. But let's go through some of these wine etiquette habits, and you tell me where some of the more common ones.
Yeah, there's kind of 9 basic habits that everybody should know, so they look like even if you're not a wine aficionado or a wine expert, so to say, or even a wine snob, which is not necessarily a pejorative term. There's 9 things that if you can do, habits you can take on that make you look a little bit more erudite, I guess, so to speak. Number 1, hold your glass by the stem or the base. No one wants to look at your fingerprints on the bowl of the glass, number 1. And number 2, you can warm up the wine and change the flavor of it. So hold it by the stem. It's not a brandy snifter, so don't hold it like that. If you have a brandy snifter, you can hold it by the bowl. But other than that, hold it by the stem. Number 2, smell your wine. Sniff it, taste it. Think about it a little bit. And the reason for that is If you like it, you can indelibly imprint that flavor profile on your brain, and the next time you have a discussion about wine, perhaps you might be able to describe what you like about it. So think about it a little bit. So it'll help you open other doors into other wines that you like. Number 3, try to drink from the same position on your wine glass to reduce those unsightly mouth marks. Again, it's similar to number 1, but it's kind of a refinement of number 1. Just keep your glass looking clean. It looks more festive. It looks cleaner. Makes you look a little spiffier, a little shinier yourself.
And I don't want to see what color lipstick you're wearing, Robert.
Exactly. It might not match my outfit,
There you go.
When opening a wine bottle, try to do it quietly, kind of like a ninja. Even though I have this bad habit, I'm the worst at this one, because when I actually pull, unlike champagne corks, when I pull a cork from the still bottle of wine, I kind of like to hear it pop myself. But that's really not the accepted way to do it. So try to do it the quiet way, not like I do it, but like somebody who is going to act like they have some class does it. So just keep it quiet on there.
That's the first time I've heard that one. That's a new one to me.
Yeah, it's one, but it's not as much fun. The downside, of course, is if you pop it out like I do, sometimes you siphon a little bit of that red wine out, and you may get it all over yourself too. So it's another reason to kind of keep it quiet as well.
There you go. Okay, I get it now. I was wondering because so much, Robert, when you and I chat about wine, so much of what we do is all about it's about the aesthetics, the presentation, the show as much as anything else.
It is, and then presentation and show it's part of the experience of wine. It's one thing we could drink wine out of a jelly jar and probably enjoy it at some level, but if you kind of add on a few of these other experiences with it, it can actually be it can quite enhance the experience. So kind of moving on down the list, and this is one of the most important ones, especially during the holiday season, because as we know, toasting and giving toast during the holiday season it's a very common thing. It happens quite often. So you need to know how to do it correctly. So when clinking your glass, clink the glasses bell to bell or bowl to bowl. Number 1, it reduces breakage, because the one thing you want to avoid is clinking your glass with the rim or the lip of the glass against somebody else's bowl or bell of the glass, because that's the most fragile part of the glass, and you can quite easily break it. And that's certainly one of the more embarrassing things that you'll ever do in public. First of all, it wastes good wine, and second of all, it's just not good form. But the other thing that's very important when clinking your glass or giving a toast is look your clinking buddy right in the eye. Don't look at your glass and look at the clink or look at the contact. Look them in the eye. It's a sign of friendship. It's a sign of trust. It's one of those things that's really important. It's an important part. It's probably one of the most important parts of actually clinking your glasses or toasting somebody face to face like that. It's that kind of personal connection. Pouring wine.
Wait, before you go on, Robert, what's the truth of this one? Because we have this issue in my household all the time. Is once you've clinked glasses, do not put it down until you drink.
That is certainly a common conception, and it's not a misconception. So it's good form.
Okay.
To toast somebody, to go ahead and taste it. And my understanding, according to many urban legends on this, is this goes way back to the medieval times, and everybody's probably heard this one too. The idea of toasting, so to speak, was that you would actually spill a little bit of your drink into your neighbor's drink, and it was a sign of trust. And also, it was the fact that if your glass was poisoned, so was theirs.
Okay. Well, we don't want to poison anybody with the wine, that's for sure.
That's why it was important to go ahead and drink as well. So it kind of goes hand in hand. But obviously, there's not too much in the way of people poisoning each other these days, hopefully.
Right, exactly.
It does go with the process, so that's kind of the tradition. Definitely follow up your clink with a sip of the wine to make sure that you finish the process. When you're pouring wine, number 6 is hold the bottle toward the base, not toward the neck. It generally works a little bit better. Number 7, fill your glass less than halfway. Make sure you give your wine room to breathe, and you can swirl it and do all those things that you would normally like to do with your wine without spilling it. Also, this day and age of very large wine glasses, which you see quite common in people's homes and in many fine restaurants. It's one of those things I used to do to people all the time that they never believe. Many of the big Cabernet or Bordeaux-style glasses, you can actually fit an entire bottle of wine in them. It doesn't look like it, and you get people on it all the time. But if you filled one to the brim, it'd be 24 and a half ounces or so of wine. So that's another good reason to only fill it halfway. Otherwise, there won't be any wine left for anybody else. Now, we could argue about whether that's a good or a bad thing, but it's definitely not good form to bogart all the wine yourself.
You just have to have an extra bottle there.
Yeah, well, that's one way to do it, but certainly try to do it less than half full. Give yourself some room. and especially in these party situations and during the holidays, everybody has a tendency to overdo it a little bit, but try to keep your portion of drinking equivalent to the people around you, so you're not the one just sucking down everything in front of you. And lastly, number 9 on this list is it's always good form, and it's kind of almost goes to a Japanese tradition too, but it really is good form here as well. Offer wine to others before pouring seconds for yourself. And it's it's one of those things. It's just a very polite thing to do, and it's certainly in the spirit of the holidays, spirit of giving. Certainly take care of your friends and neighbors before you take care of yourself when you're pouring wine.
You got to make sure you stock up on a lot of them too, because I love that idea right there, Robert. I mean, because we've been doing a lot of nonprofit and charity promotions or sharing that information with people recently, and this kind of ties right into that. Is save some of that wine for others. Think about others at this time of year. It's a great message to share. I love that idea, and there's just 9 habits. I like every one of those, Robert. I'm glad you're here to share that with us. Gotta love that stuff. Always
appropriate time of year. Definitely very appropriate this time of year, and something that we can all strive to be better than we were yesterday. And this is one of those little things you can do to be just a little bit better than you were yesterday.
Beautiful. So we've got these tips for Christmas as well. Do you have time to stick with us? Can we hold you over another segment?
Yeah, I can hang with you for a little while. Yeah.
Beautiful. Okay, you're listening to Ron Siegel Radio, discussing your real estate, current events, and the financial markets. When we come back, we're going to chat about Christmas wine pairings with Robert Mott. I can't wait to hear these, and you can reach me anytime. Call our off-air number at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or ronsiegelradio.com. Steve, I hope you caught that. Robert is sticking with us. Stay tuned. We'll be back in just a few.
Is your credit score over 800? Are you living in the home of your dreams or simply where you think you can afford? Are you earning a safe, secure 10+% return on your investments? If the answer to any of these questions is no, what are you doing about it? Text to 79564. Complete a 3-minute complimentary survey, and the area trusted professionals of Ron Siegel Radio will reach out to you to develop a success strategy for you. Again, all you need to do is text ATP to 79564.
Are you purchasing or own a luxury home? If you're like so many others, your home is your largest asset and the mortgage is your largest debt. The Siegel lending team has some amazing financing opportunities right now. Jumbo loans up to $2 million, 30-year rates below 4%, 15-year rates near 3.5%, and if you can believe it, 7-year interest-only hybrids in low 3s. The Siegel lending team has all the options for your jumbo or second home loan requirements. Take advantage of them while you can. To learn more about all the other financing products available from the Siegel lending team, call 1-800-306-1990. That's 1-800-306-1990. Or visit SiegelLendingTeam.com. That's SIEGEL lendingteam.com. Again, call 1-800-306-1990. Rates subject to change without notice. Licensed by NMLS ID 217037 and 145502. Equal housing lender.
Southern California attorneys have over 15,000 real estate agents to call in Orange County for their personal and professional needs. Why do they overwhelmingly call Melinda Johnson? Simple. It's the Melinda Johnson trifecta. Melinda is an attorney, real estate broker, and realtor. Does your family deserve the same professional services California lawyers demand? Call Melinda Johnson at 714-863-5485. That's 714-863-5485. Or on the web at freedomfirstproperties.com. Are you a veteran, own a home, and need money? The Siegel lending team is here to help veterans refinance and get the money they need. The VA 100 lets you borrow up to 100% of your home's value, refinance your mortgages, consolidate credit cards, and lower your payments by an average of $700 a month. And the Siegel lending team knows that character means more than a credit score. Call 800-306-1990. That's 800-306-1990. Rate subject to change without notice. Licensed by the California Department of Corporations, NMLS 21037, and DRE number 018694552.
37% of American homeowners believe they have over 20% equity in their homes. Fannie Mae tells us 69% of American homeowners have over 20% equity in their homes. Fully 1 in 3 American homeowners are not informed about the amount of equity they have in their homes. Are you one of them? How might this be holding you back from achieving your goals? Text RSR CMA to 79564 to get a property valuation from one of the area trusted professionals of Ron Siegel Radio. Again, to know how much your home is really worth, simply text RSR CMA to 79564.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
Welcome back to Ron Siegel Radio. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That's my message, and as your consumer advocate, I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio or anytime at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. Before the break, we were chatting with Robert Mott. We were chatting about some wine etiquette habits, and we just ran out of time. So thank goodness Robert was able to hang on with us, because we wanted to share also some wine pairing ideas for the holidays, for Christmas. And Robert, are you with us still?
I am still here, yes.
Excellent, excellent. Okay, so, you're going to really have to be basic with me, because you're talking to the Jewish kid here, and I like the wine. I don't have any dietary issues. I'm not real religious, but, let's go down the list of what we can drink. What are your recommendations for the different traditional Christmas fare?
Well, since you admitted to being the Jewish kid, I'll start with ham, of course.
There we go. Okay. Spiral ham, it works for me.
Anyway, ham, you can, obviously I'll kind of divide it up in the red wines and white wines that you would necessarily, or perhaps go with your taste in ham. One of them is a very lightweight red. I mean, generally you try to go a little bit lighter weight with ham, because ham's very rich and full of, has a fair amount of fat in it, a little bit of salt as well. And sometimes hams are glazed, with either a honey or some kind of sugar or brown sugar as well, which kind of adds to the flavor, their flavor profile as well. So some typical things you might think about if you happen to have your hands on a stash of Beaujolais Nouveau, obviously very light red wine. Pinot Noir, again, is a very traditional pairing with ham. If you go with a lighter weight Zinfandel or Tempranillo, maybe a domestic Tempranillo, those would also go fairly well with ham as well. Again, staying away from the more tannic expressions of both Zin and Tempranillo. On the white wine side of ham, I would probably think about a nice Riesling, probably slightly off dry. Not a real sweet Riesling, but just maybe just one that just has a touch of residual sugar. Or a Gewürztraminer. And Gewürztraminers can be, especially during the Christmas fair, Gewürz can be a very flexible white wine. Can go with a lot of different things, and I think this is another one of those situations. If you get one that has just a touch of residual sugar, not one of those sickening sweet expressions of Gewürz, but something that's a little bit on the drier side, but not dry, would be a good pairing with ham as well. Turkey, that's kind of the next category, another traditional Christmas dinner. Again, the pairings with that go pretty much down the lines when we talked about Thanksgiving as well. Pinot Noir leads on that. You can go again with a lightweight Zin. A Syrah or Shiraz, as the Australians would say, something a little bit more on the fruity side. not the big meaty Napa Syrahs, but something a little bit more Central Coast, perhaps, or like I said, Australian Shiraz.
We're right before Thanksgiving, Robert. I know you were traveling one of the days. We talked a little bit about on the Australian products, an Australian sparkling Shiraz with turkey. Would that be appropriate?
Yeah, I think it would actually work. It'd be fun. Sparkling Shiraz is one of those things that's not everybody's cup of tea. I liken it to raspberry soda.
Oh, okay.
Bubbles.
That's a little different.
Bubbles. So it definitely goes well, especially if you have some of the typical accompaniments with turkey, cranberry sauce or something like that. That would be something. It would be actually a fun pairing. Again, not everybody's cup of tea, but something that something that might be a fun try there. Other ones, white wines typically would be like Sauvignon Blanc, Viognier, Riesling, or again, that Gewurz could be very, very flexible. Some people love to do duck with Christmas. I think the thing about duck, you get that kind of gamey, meaty characteristic of duck, and sometimes it's good to kind of match that up with the red wine. The Zinfandels, maybe a little heavier Zinfandel, a nice Burgundy, red Burgundy, perhaps maybe a Spanish Tempranillo, or maybe one of the Rhone blends, red Rhone blends, which typically are made up of Grenache, Syrah, or Mourvedre, or even some of those individually, even if Grenache by itself. If you have a fruit-based sauce, whites are a little difficult with duck, but if you have a fruit-based sauce that's paired with it, you might get away with something a little sweet again with that, a Sauterne or maybe Gewurz. Again, I'm kind of stuck on Gewurz today. Sorry about that.
You must have been doing some sampling of some of the Gewurz, whatever you call that, recently.
Yeah, it's not front and center in my usual wine pairings, but sometimes it's fun to throw something in there that's a little bit off the reservation. I think that's one that it has some flexibility if you do it right, and that and nice German Rieslings both can do that. And kind of the last category, prime rib. Prime rib is one of those that again, another traditional Christmas holiday season food. Prime rib is easy, in my opinion. You go with the Bordeaux-style varietals, Cabernet Sauvignon, Carmenere, even Malbec, Merlot, any of the Bordeaux blends. A nice big Italian like a Barolo or a Barbaresco. All those would go well with that as well. Whites are very, very difficult with a nice meaty dish like prime rib. I might think about something like a big, bold white Burgundy. Probably not a domestic Chardonnay, but a white Burgundy, maybe a Montrachet or something like that would be a great pairing with prime rib if you have somebody that wants to go white on that. And just in general, with all the holiday dinners, I always love to have the fallback of having some good sparkling wine or champagne ready to go. For those people that just want something that's it's light and not overly heavy or tannic, and something that's refreshing and goes with almost everything. And that's the great thing about champagne and sparkling wine. The holidays, it's festive, goes with almost everything, and you should have several bottles of it ice cold and ready to go with your holiday dinners. And it's certainly a great fallback for those people that want to go that way, and I'm one of those guys too. I like to go that way quite often myself. I'm a big fan of sparkling wine and champagne paired with your holiday dinners.
A lot of the times you see these sparkling wines and the champagnes. That's one of the big items we see frequently with at the appetizer time, more than some of the other parts of the meal.
Yeah, you typically see it more the appetizer side, with your starters essentially. But don't be afraid to put it in with the regular meal as well. I mean, it's a real wine. When they're done right, they're real wines. They have good acid, and they'll go really stunningly with food. And seriously, amazingly, they pair with almost everything.
And obviously, the key thing is make sure you don't run out.
Yeah, that's key. Above all else, don't run out.
Yeah, and something, Robert, goes back, you've given us a lot of great information today, and I still harken back to my Simple Man test. And I'll just chat about this for a minute, if you would, is, my knowledge of wine. I like it or I don't like it. And it seems to me like that's one of the key things, we can go and do the pairings, and that's going to really enhance flavors. But the most important part is enjoy.
Exactly. The most important part is enjoy. I mean, we can talk pairings, and we can get, master sommeliers in here and talking about what's the best wine to pair with what food X is or whatever. But, the bottom line, if you don't like the wine, it's not going to pair very well with anything. So be sure and start with wines that you like. The wine can be enhanced by the food, and likewise the food can be enhanced by the wine. But the food's not going to change the character of the wine so much that you're going to say you're going to go from I hate it to I like it. It's unlikely anyway. I mean, it might for some people, but it's very unlikely that you're going to have a wine that you really dislike that you're going to like if you pair it with the right food. So make sure you like the wines to start with, and you hit the nail on the head, Ron. It's like wine is one of those things to be enjoyed. We can all sit here and over-talk it and overthink it, but at the end of the day, you got to like it, or else, hey, it's not worthwhile.
Absolutely. Great information as always. Thanks for sharing this great stuff with us, Robert Mott. I really appreciate it. I know we get a lot of comments from listeners that they really like hearing the wine tips that you provide. And thanks again. We will chat next week. You are listening to Ron Siegel Radio, discussing your real estate, current events, and the financial markets. When we come back, how long does it take to save for a down payment? And millennials, they're kind of worried. Are they going to be paying for student loans till the day that they die? Gosh, I hope not. You can reach me anytime. Call our off-air number. It's 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or RonSiegelRadio.com. Connect with us, Facebook.com/Ron Siegel Radio, on Twitter @Ron Siegel. Stay tuned. We'll be back in just a few.
Are you living in the home of your dreams, or simply where you think you can afford? Are you earning a safe, secure 10+% return on your investments? Is your credit score over 800? If the answer to any of these questions is no, what are you doing about it? Text ATP to 79564. Complete a 3-minute complimentary survey, and the area-trusted professionals of Ron Siegel Radio will reach out to you to develop a success strategy for you. Again, all you need to do is text ATP to 79564.
Do you have a loved one who wants to stay in their home, but you have health concerns about it? The Preferred Care team understands the challenges of caring for your loved ones. Their goal is to keep seniors as independent as possible while maintaining their health, safety, and overall well-being. Whether you need just a few hours a week or 24-hour care, Preferred Care caregivers are trained to meet your needs. Call Preferred Care at 714-696-9150. That's 714-696-9150. Or visit preferredcare.com.
In these uncertain times, it's getting harder and harder to find a safe and effective method of investing. If you're looking at retirement options that can provide some real security for you and your family, look no further than a reverse mortgage with Siegel Lending Team. Hundreds of thousands of other Americans are already taking advantage of reverse mortgages. It allows you to eliminate monthly mortgage payments, pay some bills, or simply enjoy your retirement more. A government-insured reverse mortgage with Siegel Lending Team allows seniors to stay in their home and turn their equity into tax-free cash. To qualify, there are no credit score requirements, and remember, you continue to retain complete ownership of your home. Call 1-800-306-1990 to receive a new special edition handbook, Feature Reverse Mortgage Borrowers, plus an educational brochure absolutely free. Find out more. Call Siegel Lending Team today, 1-800-306-1990. SiegelLendingTeam.com, that's SIEGEL LendingTeam.com, or 1-800-306-1990.
Are you currently renting a home? Do you like paying someone else's mortgage payment? Why not explore the options to purchase your own home? Can you imagine a 30-year fixed-rate loan below 4.25% APR? This means with $10,500, you can purchase a $295,000 home and have a principal and interest payment of about $1,400 per month. What are you paying in rent? Does your family deserve the opportunity to take advantage of the current market? To learn more about these exciting opportunities, the Siegel Lending Team is standing by to speak with you. Call now, 1-800-306-1990. That's 1-800-306-1990. Or visit SiegelLendingTeam.com. That's SIEGEL LendingTeam.com. Or 1-800-306-1990. Rate subject to change without notice. Licensed by NMLS ID 217037 and 145502. NMLS2, Equal Housing Lender, not endorsed or sponsored by any government agency.
Give your family what they want this year. Jungle Bells transforms the San Diego Zoo into a winter wonderland with activities for the entire family. Open most evenings now through January 3rd. Presented by California Coast Credit Union.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
Welcome back to Ron Siegel Radio. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That's my message, and as your consumer advocate, I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio or anytime at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. The real-time real estate segment today being brought to you by the area trusted real estate professionals of Ron Siegel Radio. You know, most people don't know the value of their home. They don't know where to even get the value of their home. I would suggest to you, if you're looking at the value of your home, there's probably only one or two reasons why you want to know specifically today what the value is. You're looking to sell it, you're looking to refinance it, you're looking to restructure. The best thing that you need to know, or the best advice you need to know, stay offline. Do not fill in one of those dumb websites that say they're going to tell you the value of your home. It's probably, I'm not going to say it's a sham, because it's really not a sham, but it's not going to give you the best guidance. You go to Zillow, you go to Trulia, you go to Cloud CMA, you go to all these different places, and I know all of them, I've seen them. They're not going to give you the guidance that you need to know. What you need is you need a professional. You need to speak with a real estate professional. That means pick up the phone, talk to one of them. Now, most people don't know where to find the real estate professional. They go and they look online, they look at the signs that are around the neighborhood. That's not going to give you the guidance of finding the real estate professional that's going to help you. You need to text PEAR, PAIR, to 79564. Pick up the phone and text PAIR, PEAR, to 79564. That will get you a professional equity analysis review. That's why we termed it PAIR. You're going to speak with a real estate professional. Then they're going to look at what the values are in your neighborhood. They're going to look and see if you're on the right side of the street or the wrong side of the street. What kind of view do you have? How does your property compare to some of the other properties that might have sold? Yes, they need to look at some of the data. They need to look at some of the history. But they need to chat with you. If they're not talking to you, it's worthless. The documents you get are worthless if you don't have a conversation with a professional. And one of the other reasons that you may be looking for a new house is you want to know, or the value of your house, is maybe you want to know the value or how long it might take you to save for a down payment to buy another house. Now I'm going to share with you some of the data from a recent study conducted by Builder.com. And they looked at researching and determined that nationwide it would take nearly 8 years for a first-time buyer to save enough for a down payment on their dream home. Now I'm going to share with you, why are you buying a dream home first? Most people buy a starter home first. They need to work up to the dream home. I suggest you need to work up to a dream home. We chatted earlier this year. I don't remember the exact date. If you want to look back, you can find it. Melissa Jones was in. She's a real estate professional down in Brea in Orange County. Works in the Yorba Linda area as well. And Melissa was chatting about the idea that she and her husband bought a home, a starter home, and it's appreciated over $100,000 in the first 2 years. I looked at the valuation of somebody else who our team helped recently. Their home had appreciated by about $60,000 recently. So get in the game. What do you need to do to get in the game? So here, if you want 10% for a down payment, if we look at your median income and a median home price, That means half the houses are more expensive, half the houses are less expensive. 10% down in California, it's going to take about 21.9 years to save 10%. Don't hang up. Don't change your channel. Because I don't want you to worry about 10%. If you can save 3%, and if, again, we're using Freddie Mac, Fannie Mae numbers, there are 3% programs with both of them, 3.5% with FHA. Well, now you're looking at, in California, 6.5 years. 6.5 years is what it's going to take to save. Now, maybe you can get mom or dad or grandma or grandpa to help you out. What I want to know is get in the game. How do we get you in? If you're VA, if you're a veteran, you've got the best loan available because you don't have to worry about saving anything. Less than the cost of your security deposit. In most instances, you can buy a house with your VA eligibility and you're good to go. You don't have to worry about these other issues of saving for a down payment. But the bottom line here is get in the game. Whatever you need to do, scrimp, scrap, save, and you continue that process. Continue doing that on an ongoing basis because part of that has to do with don't get rid of that program. Don't stop saving. If you want to build your wealth, save. Buy a house, buy the next house, continue buying houses over and over again. That's the issue right there. Don't sell that first one. You can rent it out. We've talked to you before about the value of renting. I've shared with you the numbers that the property managers tell us. They don't want to rent to the same person over and over again. They want to get the renter out of the property. You get that? They want the renter out of the property. They don't want you in there. They want to bring somebody new in so they can raise the rent. Well, if they're raising the rent, don't you think you could be raising the rent too? If you own the property, if you're a veteran and you move from one place to another, if you're transferred from one station to another, buy a new property at each location. Maybe you can't use the same VA eligibility over and over again, but there are other opportunities. 88% of property managers raised their rent in the last 12 months. 68% of property managers predict that rental rates will continue to rise in the next year by an average of 8%. Where are you going to get that kind of increases other than in something like this? So save your money, buy a new house, buy a house, and then when you're ready to buy the next house, restructure the loan on house one. If you are a veteran, you can take 100% of the money out of it. If you're FHA, you can't do quite as much. If you've got a conventional, you can do that as well. But continue those issues, buying houses, building your portfolio of real estate, and down the road, I'm going to be doing a seminar the 30th of January showing people how they can retire with $18,000 a month coming in without a 401k, without an IRA, just using mortgage planning. That's what I talk about all the time, is mortgage planning. That is the real-time real estate segment, again brought to you by the area trusted real estate professionals of Ron Siegel Radio. Text PAIR, P-E-A-R, the 79564. Get the true value of your home after you speak with a real estate professional. Now, we shared a lot of information from Robert Mott today, so we didn't have a chance to get into our Word on Wealth segment, and that's going to be brought to you by the area trusted professionals. That's your household board of directors. Again, text ATP to 79564. You'll get this information. Will I be paying student loans until the day I die? That is the millennial query right now. There are some opportunities, there are some tools out there that will allow you to do some work on your student loan debt. You need to call the student loan providers. You need to talk to them about where your situation is, what your investment, what your budget is, how much money you have left over. There are a lot of programs that are out there to help our millennials with getting some relief on student loan debt, the debt that the government is holding. The government decided to take this over. They made it very, very easy for you to get student loans. Drives me nuts that they did that. Then they went and said, well, you can't discharge them in debt, so we're going to let our kids get themselves in hot water. We keep a method of getting out of hot water, but we don't give our kids that same opportunity. We need to change that. We need to talk to our Congress about that and get those rulings changed. And I think we'll see how quickly college tuition comes down when they realize there is some recourse. That's the Word on Wealth segment, again brought to you by the Area Trusted Professionals. Text ATP to 79564. Be sure to set that first radio preset button to come back here every day to join Ron Siegel Radio, where we only speak about items affecting your house and your bank account. Thanks to all of our sponsors. A big thanks to Steve, who's engineering us today. And of course, a special thanks to you for spending a little bit of your day with us. That's all for Ron Siegel Radio. Again, if you want to meet any of our guests, just call me at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or ronsiegelradio.com. And remember, make a lot of money so you can help a lot of people and have a lot of fun. Have a great day. We'll talk to you next time on Ron Siegel Radio.
XAKA 1700 AM kita California.
You're listening to ESPN Radio 1700.
Guys, wouldn't your wife or